Hello everyone. So today we have a great episode. We have Kimberly coming in today, who's a breastfeeding consultant, a lactation consultant, a midwife, and a doula. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her yet, so I'm super excited. Jenn is going to be joining us in a few minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I'm trying to see if she is already on, but I'm waiting for that. But today we're going to be tackling the topic of breastfeeding, which I'm super excited for because this is one of the hardest moments. This is one of the first challenges, I think, as moms that we face, like after the baby's already out and we think like we're done. And then this breastfeeding challenge comes along and we're like, oh, wait, what? There's more? But I believe that it's all lack of information. And we have a great opportunity today and every day because we have access to a lot more information than we used to. So with that being said, I think it's truly amazing that we get to have these topics and that we have this community so that we can kind of help each other out, because it does get difficult and it does get lonely if you don't have anyone around you that's going through similar situations. So I think that's something that is going to be really cool today, because we could feel all our energy thinking of the same things and being amazed by all the lies that are out there about breastfeeding, or some of the information that's missing that we don't have access. Well, we do have access to it, but that, it's lost within generations, I say, because, for example, I had my mom there to help me, but prior to that, there's no more history of like, okay, what do we do? What is natural? So today's going to be interesting because of that. So I'm super excited. I don't see her on here just yet. I wonder how we request people. Oh, I think I found. Okay, so maybe she wasn't aware that we were on already.
Hi. Let me get someplace.
Hi.
I'm not in the sun. Let's see. That's better. Is that okay? Can you see me better?
Yeah, I can see you good.
Although I can't really see you. I think I might go in the shade here.
Okay.
Because the sun's in my eyes. Okay. I wasn't sure we were still doing it, so I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here also. Yeah, I wasn't sure because of all the technical issues last week, but we're here. We made it.
So great.
Yes. Okay, so I'm Danesha. I know we haven't properly met, but we'll meet on here. It's okay. I'm a mom of 3. I'm here with Jenn on this journey of trying to create this community with moms where we can share our experiences and all the knowledge that, it's out there, but maybe not everyone has the access to it. So that's why we like this community, and that's why you were the perfect person to have. Jenn talks a lot about you, and I look into your work a lot as well. I look up at you, and I just want to say all those things because of you, a lot of us were able to actually be better moms and do the things that we knew deep down we wanted to do, but we didn't know that there was an actual journey for that, So I wanted to say thank you.
Wow. I'm humbled. I'm truly humbled. It's a little windy out here. Can you hear the wind?
No, actually, I hear you. Yeah.
Good. Then I'll sit right here since the wind is blowing the little shade that I'm sitting under. And so, but that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That's very, it means a lot, but I always stay humble in this work because, I've learned from everybody, including my own mother and my grandmother, my ancestral, my mothers who are on the other side right now. And I just owe them everything. And then I learned so much from the moms over the years that I've had the opportunity to either sit in circle with or to support on their journey. I mean, I think that we're always learning, and that's such an important thing to to embody and understand too. Is like no one of us is like the owner of any of this knowledge or anything about motherhood. Like we're constantly learning from each other. I learn from young mothers. I learn from older mothers. I learn from grandmothers, great grandmothers. I learn from, like I said, ancestral mothers. I learn from those of my kids who are mothers or fathers right now. You know, I'm a grandmother too. So like my daughter who's a mom has taught me so much, my son. Um, so yeah, it's a constant learning process. So thanks.
Yes. So Jenn joining us in maybe 5 or so. So I did want to start with asking, because today we're gonna debunk some breastfeeding myths, which I'm super excited for, because I know that for me at least it was super challenging to kickstart my breastfeeding journey. And I had a lot of people in my ear saying like, just give up. Breastfeeding is the game. You're putting yourself through hell for no reason. You might not even keep doing it in the future. And I know that were proper and they were well intentioned, but we realize as women the responsibility to look into that future as to what happens if we do things that are naturally out to, and I think that's something that has been taken away from us in a way that we think we cannot do this, which is crazy because it's the most natural thing. Now, God gave us consciousness and gave us the ability to have free will, but he kept us tied to the savage of birth, of the true nature of being connected to just not being in control of that, like that specific aspect of your life. You can control everything else, but when it comes to birth and things that are supposed to be nature, they just happen. So it's cool to see that even though we've been, basically taken off of our missions as like mothers and of, goddesses with this responsibility that we have, there's still that intuition in us that's like, no, you can do this. There's something that keeps pushing us to say, this is just belongs to us. So I'm excited.
I see Jenn. Hey Jenn, I see you. I know you're here.
I just saw it right now. I was so into what I was saying that I didn't see. But I'm excited to debunk those myths. Yeah. Hi, Jenn.
Hey, y'all.
This is great. I didn't even know we could do like 3 people at once. Like,
Yes,
cool.
Girl.
I was like, how's this gonna work?
Yes, I just got in. I was down teaching a class in LA, and I just got back. So let's get to it. I love what y'all talking about. Y'all can go ahead.
Yeah. I love the question. It was a big question, and it's something that I think about a lot. I think about all the time, and I've been working with other moms for about 30 years, and even like this breastfeeding thing, like really I got into this on the breastfeeding tip, and I always like feel like no matter how, let me turn off my notifications. No matter how many people we get like out here supporting body feeding, which I love that word, body feeding, breastfeeding, lactation, chest feeding, whatever you want to call, whatever you're going to call it.
Oh wait, can't hear you.
Your sounds went off.
Yeah, your sound went off. Can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Be freaking hard. Can you hear me now?
Okay, wait. Yeah, your sound had went off for a second.
You know why? Because somebody was trying to call me.
Oh.
So I think it kind of booted me off for a second. But anyway, it can still be so hard for a lot of us. And it doesn't matter how much you can read all the books about it, and it doesn't make it any less easier. And basically, I'm going to tell you that honestly, I think it's just hard because we don't live in a society that support what we do as mother goddesses or whatever you want to call us, embodied mother beings, we don't live in a society that supports the work that we do. And if our society really supported what we do, all the unpaid work, all the free titty milk we're giving out all the time, everything, our bodies to birth these babies, all the things, our emotions, our minds, we don't get paid 1 cent for that, and we don't get any support. This culture that we live in is built as a male-dominated society, and it's not about, it's not support. And so a lot of the moms that are struggling because they don't have support. It's not that their breasts aren't working, is that they can't figure out how to stay connected with their baby and do all the other things they feel like they have to do, need to do, to maybe have a roof over their head or have food to feed their kids or keep a job and all those things, and you have to kind of be willing to not
give a fuck.
Really, yes, exactly. Be really determined in what you want to do, but you also have to be willing to do things that we're not socialized to do, which is ask for help.
Yes.
Create good, clear boundaries. Say no. Create a plan. So you want to do exclusive breastfeeding after your baby's born? Okay, you got to create a plan.
Yeah.
Because who's going to be your support system? Who's gonna bring in the money while you're figuring it out, while you're basically just recovering from giving birth or taking a child into your family? Like, you need time for that, and it's not built in our society.
It's not. I remember when I was breastfeeding, I would get so annoyed that after my baby was like 6 months, there was the constant question of, you're still nursing? You're still breastfeeding? You don't need to continue breastfeeding though. And it's like, is it your titty? What you so, like, they ain't sucking your titty. Like, what you so worried about, Then after the babies turn 1, ooh, they come again. You still breastfeeding that baby?
Can you help me take this off?
They're like, isn't your kid walking?
Yes.
Or what do we say?
Like,
is that all they eat? Do you feed them anything else? Like, all the things. And who does that serve? Even, how about, let's take it to the next level. Your child sleeping in your bed with you so they can have access to your boob and they can feed whenever they want and you can get sleep. How many people have problems with that? How many people's doctors are telling folks from the gate, don't ever do that?
Mm-hmm. That's what I was told at first.
Of
not
course.
to sleep with my baby. And at first, what I started doing was I was putting the baby in the bassinet, nursing, putting the baby in the bassinet, going back to the bed. But by the time you actually fall asleep, the baby's crying again. So then I would get back up. And then I said, I can't do this. But when I left that baby next to me, after a couple of days, they knew where that titty was. They grabbed it and I was still sleeping. I was like, and I was like, this is how I'm going to get sleep. So after that, I slept with all 3 of my babies. And that was the best thing I ever did.
And I just want to say, as a health, whatever, professional, let me be responsible and say there are safe ways to sleep with your baby and there are unsafe ways to sleep with your baby. But that knowledge is readily available. It's out there. It's been studied. So how come you're not handing every birthing person a copy of
the safe way to
information that's already been studied to say that this is safe under these conditions and these are how you create these conditions? And because what, nobody really values the mother.
No,
nobody really puts value in the mother. Like, she's just supposed to be all encompassing, you're supposed to breastfeed all day long, all night long, and you have to have like a special crib, a special this, a special that. You're marketed to make you think you need all this stuff.
A boppy, all this. They actually recalled a few boppies recently
that actually don't support what you're trying to do. And and so there's so many reasons why it's just so tough for us. And it's really important, I think, and forgive me, I'm moving locations because it suddenly got really cold out here. It's fall in LA. I think I'm going to go inside. Yes. So I think another thing is that, if you're planning, I think another thing, and I'm just going to take it back to us in a way, it's like some of our issues as birthing people are that, one, our ego. I'm just going to take it to that because this is where we have responsibility. Like, how many times have I come across folks who are expecting and they want to do all the things? I want a natural birth. I want to breastfeed. I want to do all these things. But they think that all the stories they hear about people having a hard time does not apply to them. They think like, well, that's not going to happen to me. You know, I read a book or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more than that. Like, you have to invest the time into not just, I mean, yeah, read a book, read several books. Also, like, make sure you have good care providers. Like, do the work to find care providers that are going to be true guides to you.
Yes.
Right? It's not as easy as just finding whoever your insurance covers. Sorry, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It just isn't. So you got to do the work. Do you need a childbirth class? Yes.
Man, I learned that after my first, that the breathing, the nursing, had I at least taken like live classes with somebody, it would have saved me the stress, the mental stress that I had, because afterwards it becomes psychological, because then I started to doubt myself. So a lot of the breastfeeding issues I had became because now I didn't trust myself no more.
Right.
I thought they were just going to go and do it. Next thing you know, my son is tongue-tied and he can't latch on. And I'm like, what do you mean he can't latch on?
Right.
I thought they just do that. So then it became, oh my God, you know, like, where did I mess up? What did I do wrong? And you start just tearing yourself up.
That's the other piece of it. Sierra said, seek out an IBCLC before you give birth. Absolutely. You got to take a body feeding lactation class. Why? Because maybe your grandmother and your mother didn't breastfeed, or maybe they're not around, and maybe they did, but they didn't do it successfully.
Yes.
So who are you going to get, you know, like, you need to get like up-to-date information prior to giving birth or bringing a child in, so that, you know, you're prepared. Like, you know, all those things. But you just hit the nail on the head too, Jen, because I was going to say two big things. One is our ego. I got this. I don't need this. Oh, I don't need a class. It's, you know, I think it's, in a way, it's like a protection mechanism gone awry, where you're like, I think I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I'm just not going to worry about that stuff. I'm saying, worry about that. I'm saying, like, get some information in there, because your doctor, if you have a doctor in particular, they're not going to tell you anything.
No.
If you're waiting for your OB to tell you how to breastfeed, you're going to be waiting till the ice age comes again. And secondly, the other part is our internalization. I find, as people, you know, in a woman's body, we have been socialized to internalize everything, right? So like you said, Jen, when you started having problems, you beat yourself up. You didn't think like, let me go, you know, your first thought was probably not, let me go get some help.
No.
You're like, oh God, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're doing both of those things. I got it. I'm fine. I'll figure it out. And millions of women have done this before me, so I know I'll be fine. No, you won't. Maybe you will, but you can always learn.
Yes, I ended up, I actually, this is how I met Kim, guys. I actually ended up, because of that, my girl Brandy was doing a breastfeeding. It was Black Breastfeeding Week, and she did a whole panel, and it was all this. And I remember going to that. I was like, no, I need to go to this, because I need to see other moms like me, because I feel alone in this. And Kim was in that panel, and I remember going there and seeing all these beautiful Black and Spanish women breastfeeding their babies out in the open with no problem. And I was like, oh, I feel at home. Like, oh my God, so we can do this. Nobody's looking at us. I don't got to put a cover over my baby. I don't got to do nothing. And I felt so free. Aww. And it was there. I was like, no, this is the community I need. This is the support I need. Now I feel normal again.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now I know that all I need is to seek, hey, there's all these specialists that know this, that look like me, that I don't feel that are gonna judge me, or you just be cognitive of how this system is, and you don't want to deal with that part of it, right? And that was so beautiful about that.
Thank you for saying that, Jen. That's a really beautiful reflection, because that's exactly how I got into this. Was when I went to go seek support with my first kid, who's 30. She just left here with her kids. And when I went to go seek support, it was a woman I had met who was like, hey, there's a support group down the street from you, like for breastfeeding. While I was sitting in my brownstone in Brooklyn, like crying, so depressed, tears in my eyes, nipples all scarred up, trying to breastfeed my daughter, and divine intervention got me to this La Leche League meeting. And I felt the same way you did, Jen. I walked into the leader's house, and it was her whole living room was filled with mothers nursing their babies. And I was like, oh my God, like I thought it's so weird how your mind plays tricks on you. I literally thought I was the only woman in Brooklyn that ever had a baby, like in the past, in the future, in the moment. It was just me and my daughter, just us alone. No one else had ever done this, had ever gone before. I mean, I was so isolated. And that, again, too, is a product of our society. You know, there's a really good article I post on my mom's group sometime. I have a mom's group on Facebook called Beloved Birth Community by Mama Kim or something like that. Beloved Birth Community by Mama Kim on Facebook. It's a private Facebook group. But anyway, somebody had this great article, and I posted.
Oh, wait. Is it breaking up for me or you guys too?
It's breaking up a little bit for me too.
Yeah, it's breaking up.
He said it was Beloved Mama Kim, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say we can write that down too.
I wrote
Wi-Fi on. Let's see, I'm coming back.
Okay, yeah.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Probably would help if I had my Wi-Fi on. But anyway, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Hold on, Mama.
Yeah, I found there's this article I saw. It was like, are you the mom in the box? And I was like, the mom in the box. What's the mom in the box? The mom in the box is all of us who are in our respective homes and apartments and rooms and places where we live, where we day in and day out care for our babies, our children, our toddlers, you know, the ones that are at home with us. And we're so isolated.
Yes.
We don't live in a community of mothers. It's not as easy to find as maybe it is in other countries, maybe it is for other generations. We're so isolated, and we really think we're the only one going through this. And we really, really think that no one else out there is going through what we're going through or could even understand what we're going through as a mom, as a new mom. Mm-hmm. And so it is so important, if you find yourself isolated, if you find yourself feeling like, I don't know any other moms that have little kids like me. I don't know. I'm even nervous about meeting them. And in the pandemic, that has made that become even more of an issue. Yeah. I'm saying to you right now, you have to reach out because we're out here. And I was saying my Facebook group is called Beloved Birth Community by Mama Kim. It's on Facebook, Beloved Birth Community by Mama Kim. You can ask to join it, and it's a private group. So I will add you in if you want to join. Yes. And it's a beautiful group to just like, you can just be in your house. Thank you. That's it. You could it's on Facebook. You can be in your house. You can be in your apartment. You can be at your job. You can check in on that group at any time. The moms on there, the folks on there are so supportive and welcoming. We get a few, every now and again, you get a little interesting comments, but we handle that so that it can be a safe space. And it's not too giant that I actually can't just admin it. It's not like thousands and thousands of moms. And then another place that I would ask folks to think about as an offering that we have at Kindred Space LA is our Tuesday morning moms group. It's called Babes in Arms. And if you go onto our Kindred Space LA Instagram, so at Kindred Space LA, we always post about our groups. And the good thing about the pandemic is that actually it's allowed our groups, since they had to go online, it actually allowed us to reach a wider audience of moms. So there's times when we have moms on there from other countries. We have moms on there for other parts of the United States, because it wasn't a requirement to drive to the group, right? And so listen, virtual moms groups can be hella dope, you know, because believe it or not, like, look, we're doing this right now. I mean, it's not in person, but we can still feel connected. We can still feel human and connect with each other. And the shit is going to save your mental health.
Woo, child, I wrote a whole book on it. I wrote a whole book on it because a bitch lost her mind. Okay. Okay.
You know,
right? I
lost
lost it, guys. I lost it. I just fucking lost it. but I survived.
To tell the story. I hear that, and we love you.
I just want to add one more thing, and this is what I learned too was, you know, I had my little issues in the beginning with my son. I found my way, and I was good. With my second one, it was a breeze. Boom, she latched on. I was easy breezy. So I'm thinking, I got this, right? My third one comes. We all good in the beginning. You know, she latched on. 1-2 days, we're good. Third day. Fourth day. Now it starts getting tricky. Now for the first time, after 3 kids, I have cracked nipples. I'm bleeding. It's hurting when she's doing it. And I'm like, what just happened? I thought I got this. And then I had to find my way again.
Yep.
Through it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like every baby is different.
Yes.
Every experience is going to be different. Do not think, and that's not to discourage anybody, but know that each experience and each baby is going to be different. The only thing that you're going to do with all your babies is you're going to have that motherly instinct. You're always going to have that. But the experience with each of them will be different based on who they are, how they are, all these things, you know?
Totally.
You know, my last daughter was the fastest birth, but I'll be honest, she was my most difficult as far as in nursing because I had like 2 weeks of just struggling, like literally struggling.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, like again, getting in my head again, thinking I can't do this, you know? And then you add the stress of just 2 toddlers. It's exhausting at that point, even 20 times more because nursing is exhausting, it's draining. And then you got 2 other babies who want your attention and you barely have the energy to even give it to them. So then you get in your head even more. You know, it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful experience, you know, but you got to ride that wave and it goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down.
Just like parenting.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's all about alchemy as well. Like we have to understand all the energies. So it's like when I was going through my struggle and I said the same thing, I want to give a natural birth, I want to breastfeed my son, I don't want to have a C-section. And once I got to the hospital and I got that epidural and I noticed that I had already knocked down one of the things on my list, I was like, oh no, wait, hold up. I was like, this requires work. And I learned right there in that moment that I needed to exchange and like sacrifice certain things that where it was that I wanted to go. So I was able to achieve my other 2 goals, but by the time I was breastfeeding, I realized that it came with sacrifice and I was willing. I was like, no, I'm ready to give it all up because I already lost one of the things I was so adamant about having. But I know that it came with all this work, the same as anything else. I could have stayed in that bed too and it still would have came with work, but it was more valuable that it was what I said and that it was what I dictated was going to be. So I created that. I alchemized that situation for myself. And I feel like that. A lot of women forget that we have those powers. We literally we're portals.
Yes.
Alchemy 24/7. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that you said that. So much what you said, the alchemy and like sacrificing something, having to give up something to get something and the work and also recognizing our power. I think honestly, recognizing our power is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah.
Not, you know, like when we diminish our light and we don't really understand or embrace how powerful we are. And with that, a couple of things that also are standing out for me, you know, regarding not just breastfeeding, but prior to like birth, you know, being pregnant, right? It's like we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're not doing it. We want an Instagram birth, right? But we're not doing, when you talk about the work is gosh, it's so vast. I mean, it's taking classes, but it's more than that. It's doing your mental work, you know, your spiritual work,
Yes.
like getting right with, you know, like being honest with yourself about things like nutrition. Like, let me tell you something. If I hear another so-called healthy person, you know, I should say, you know, because we talk about nutrition all the time in midwifery, and this is like one of the biggest, scariest things I've discovered this past year is how many of us think we're really doing good, taking care of ourselves, especially nutritionally, and we're not. We're really falling down. Yep. And what does that come from? That comes from like this idea of the sacrifice, and we're too willing to sacrifice ourselves in ways that aren't supportive. Like, if I eat healthy, and I mean, I'm not talking about any particular diet. I'm talking about real, not trends, not in, and I have people on here that sell sea moss, and I love me some sea moss, but it doesn't mean that you can't take your prenatal vitamins too. It doesn't mean that when you're anemic that you shouldn't address that. Because I'm going to tell you, if your health and your physical health ain't right, your mind ain't going to be right. Nope. And everything is going to be harder. You're putting yourself at risk. Fuck the system putting you at risk. You're putting your own self at risk. So you got to get with yourself and figure out, why is it that I'm not nourishing myself? Or where my ideas of nourishment come from? Why do I always have headaches? Why am I emaciated? Or what am I really eating? I challenge everybody on this live to do a food diary for a week. And really look at what you're eating. I don't care if you're pregnant, postpartum, or no partum. Like, do a food diary and see, what are you putting in your body? Are you exercising? That could be walking. It's not rocket science. You don't have to join a class. You can just walk, right? Are you taking time for yourself? Have you created space wherever you are in your journey to just be with yourself? It could be an hour a week. It could be 5 minutes a day. It could be 2 hours a day. Are you doing that? Are you creating that space for you to kind of like really reflect and process? Are you getting adequate sleep and rest? Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm all about the nap ministry. And if y'all don't know who the nap ministry is, follow the nap ministry. She's ridiculous. I mean, she's just, the nap ministry is revolutionary, and check it out. I mean, are you getting adequate sleep and rest? Are you doing all those things? Because you want to have all these great experiences, but that's really the work. The sacrifice that you talk about, it's not always about sacrificing yourself. It's about sacrificing your comfort zone. Yes. You feel me? So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have a part where I talk about in my book, because what I learned was that we always say,
I love your kids are screaming in the background. That's awesome.
We always say, you know, you got to put your children first. You got to put your children first. You got to put your children first, right? And although I do agree with that, here's the thing that I learned after having my babies is that I threw myself headfirst into motherhood because of my mother trauma that I had, okay, which is very important for a woman to have. So I was raised by my dad mainly. So that trauma resurfaced, and because I didn't want to be like her, all I did was throw everything into these children, and I forgot about me completely. I forgot about my husband. I forgot about myself. So is that really putting my children first, when what I did was I compromised my mental health completely, that then I wasn't able to be the mother that I am destined to be?
That's right.
I was being blocked by the trauma. I was parenting with traumatic eyes because I wasn't taking the time out to process what I just did. You know what I mean? To thank myself for what I did, to have those moments where, you know, listen, you love your babies, but at some point you just don't want to be around them sometimes. That's just some real shit. And people are not going to say that. And some people that don't have kids are going to judge that. But I'm sorry, sometimes you need just a minute. And I wouldn't take that minute because I felt guilty, right? Because I would attach my trauma that as if me leaving is me abandoning them. No, they ain't going through what I'm going through. That was my issue.
So
you
well
know?
said, sister.
So I had to literally know, like, when I need a break, it is okay. And I would walk out and I would have my walk by myself. Or you know what? I would go in my car and call my best friend and cry.
There you
And just
go.
cry. And it felt fucking great. And when
Yep.
I started to take time out for myself, when I started to meditate again, also eating, we forget about eating when we're nursing because we're so caught up that what do? We eat crap. We're just like, let me just eat
Yep.
something real quick. Let me just do
Yep.
this. And it's like, no, maybe you don't have to cook. But then it became, my husband's like, nah, you got to eat right. So he would start cooking the foods, helping us out, doing things like that. You know, when I needed to shower and I wanted to do that more than 2 minutes, it was, oh, you can do that. Like, it's crazy how you feel guilty because the minute you get in the shower, first of all, you have phantom cries and the baby ain't even crying and you sitting in the shower like, you hear that? You hear that?
You
And
should
then
do
you
a
jump out
TikTok
and the
on
baby's
that.
sleeping. The
Yeah.
baby's sleeping and I'm like, yo, I'm fucking losing my mind. Like, what are you doing? Like, girl, just shower.
Yeah,
Like, shut up and shower,
definitely.
you know? But
Yes.
for me,
Yeah.
I felt like when I really started taking time out for myself and respecting myself more for what I created,
Yes.
is when that's when I was putting my children first. But for a little
Amen.
minute, I wasn't.
Absolutely.
That's not putting yourself first when you literally do everything and forget about yourself and also your husband who helped you create this baby. Who helped
Exactly. But look, but
You
go ahead.
another thing that I'm so sorry, it cut off a little bit in here. Another thing that tends to happen is that we don't spend the importance of that time alone. That's the time where we have like our moral conversations where we're like, yo, this is what I've been doing for like 10 years. Is this even right? Like, is there any other way to do it? Like, maybe I'm just getting intuitionally, I'm getting some type of ancestry that was done before, a way that it was done before. And those are the moments. So it's like, if we don't have those moments,
Yes.
ever grow and understand, like, because we need to spend that time alone. It's a conversation with the God in us to be like, wait, am I doing the right thing? And separating the emotions from what actually is, because that the guilt will eat you alive.
Woo!
So you have to separate that, flick it out of the way and be like, okay, no, that's not me. That's the one that's telling me I'm not gonna do this. And the more attention I do to that, which is what we do subconsciously, then that's what's gonna like manifest in our lives. So the second we take that moment to be like, you know, let me sit with myself and really understand myself and catch myself and hold myself accountable, because that's the step that we're missing as well, is that, you know, we're masking a lot of the things that are like self-care and all these things, and we're kind of like switching the roles and we're not realizing that we're doing that. But at the same time, we're very accountable of ourselves and realistic and see like, yo, that was my fault and I need to correct that. It don't matter how it got in me.
And that's agreed. And that's different than internalizing everything that's not right with the world and thinking, you know, to feeling guilty about it. Like there's like a somewhat of a fine line. And I love what you're saying. It's one thing to feel guilty about everything. It's another thing to set some, you know, ideas for yourself and some goals for yourself in order to live healthy and balanced, and then hold yourself accountable for it to yourself. It's not just, it's like, because you're so right, Jen. And it's like, we've been, again, socialized, number one, to be martyrs. If you're a mom, you're a martyr. Like, think about it. How many of us out here who are in the motherhood role feel like it's synonymous with giving up everything? Like we talked about that word sacrificing everything. How many of us actually are living like martyrs and not like mothers, right? Because like, my thing is like, if mom ain't happy, then nobody's happy.
No,
so
listen, really, mom controls the energy in the house.
You're the most powerful. And when moms can feel so powerless, and you look at them and they're doing everything. They're doing everything, and they feel like the lowest person on the totem pole. This is some bullshit from this colonization, this culture, this patriarchy has made us feel like the lowest person on the totem pole, that our needs are not important. And it's just about being all sacrificing. This is religion gets in there, all sacrificing to a greater good, which ain't you. And that is not how it has always been. And God, I reject the notion that we should live like that. I think, you know, you all said it so well, but like, how can we have help raise these beautiful beings if we are not putting ourselves first? I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
No, we absolutely should put ourselves first, because like you said, Jen, and I totally agree, we have the most powerful position in the family. We are the CEOs of our family enterprise.
Of the
So
world.
of the world, right? Because collectively we run the world. I mean, everyone said, you know, it's said, but are we really doing that? Or are we just falling in line with some of this crap that's out here that makes us, objectifies us, number one, day in and day out, whether it's a birthing body, a sexual body, a, you know, a partner body. Are we buying into the objectification of who we are? Or are we really trying to like understand, go within and understand who we really are, who we came here to be, what we came here to put forth? And it's not going to look the same for everybody.
No.
There shouldn't be one way of being a mom or being a caretaker or being a parent. Like, let's forget that. And so let's stop beating each other up and comparing and tearing each other down because they didn't do it the way you thought they should do it, and vice versa. Just do you, babe. Do you. Let's go within, think about, and take the time to reflect and think about what we showed up here to be. Yes. What's our purpose? What's our path? And continue to go back to that. And I love what you all both said about like taking time, meditation, separating all the things so that you can get to like what's really true here.
What's true?
You know?
Yep.
Yes.
One thing I want to add, go ahead, Danesha.
And control our perceptions also, because that society make us feel bad about being women and hate ourselves for that. Oh, we get our period. Oh, we get harassed. Oh, we don't have
birth hurts. Oh,
yeah,
baby hurts. Why we gotta go through it?
Yeah, and then we're forgetting that, first of all, this is a privilege. This is beyond the privilege. And second of all, we're forgetting the energy that we receive back from them. This doesn't come without an exchange. So it's like, that's one of the things that will elevate you the most in life, is that energy exchange between you and your children. Because that's the most valuable lessons you'll ever learn in your life.
Ooh, yes.
And we're not accepting these like gifts. We're like hating every step of it. And it's like, that's why we're stuck as a society, because we hate everything that we do because we don't know who we are. Wow. And it's like, once we can accept who we are and who we are, now it's a whole different stepping stone. It's a whole different game that we're playing here. And now I'm winning the whole entire time. I'm just winning.
Yeah, right, that's called stepping into your power.
I want to add to the breastfeeding thing.
Yes.
But Jen,
here's the thing. So go ahead.
But no, it's one thing I just want to say, and that we're worthy of support, because when you step into your power, and when you really align with how powerful you are and what you came here to do and what you're doing, you're actively raising the next generation, then you'll be in the position to say, I would like some help with this, because this is a big job. And it's not about, I need to be all suffering and everything needs to be on me. No, many of us mothers are complete gatekeepers. Nobody do it as good as us. No, my husband can't put the clothes on, can't change the diaper because he don't do it right. Nope, my mom can't help because I don't like the way she disciplines the kids because I discipline a different way. Nope, I can't hire a babysitter because I can't trust nobody. Nope, no, hey, before you have a kid, if you're lucky, start thinking about who your support system is, what they're going to look like. Start talking to people about your ideas, what you're thinking. Get a team of people that love you and will love your children and that can support you, because you really can't do it alone, and it's not meant to be done alone. I don't care who you are. And that is part of the ego, back to the ego. But like you were saying, my love, if you can step into your power, like I always think like everybody wants to be, you know, people look at like people like Oprah, right? Like, do you think Oprah's doing everything she's doing by herself? Like she ain't got a team? Come on, y'all.
Right.
How many people work for Oprah? And we're okay with that. But You're the head of your family corporation. You're the CEO of your family corporation. Why are you doing everything? You're a terrible leader because you're not delegating.
Yeah.
You're not delegating. You're not getting support. You're not asking for help. No one who has a company out here that's out here
Successful,
supplying jobs for everybody, making products. They ain't one person running that. It's a team. And it's not, yes, we all got trust issues, but that's why you need to do your homework. Like by the time you're at your wit's end and you're ready to throw the baby out the window, that's not the time to start looking for a babysitter, right? Like do this before. Why y'all laughing, huh? Why y'all?
Where's the
and it all
return?
relates to breastfeeding too, okay? And one thing I just want to say about breastfeeding, and Jen, and sorry, but I just want to say this, is just that one thing also I wish people would know is that it's not all or nothing, okay? Yes, it's ideal in somebody's mind to exclusively breastfeed from the breast. But guess what? There's lots of different ways you can do it. Some babies get breastfed just to get the colostrum, and that's it. And the parent bottle feeds after that. That's great. Some babies, have had 2 weeks of breast milk, and the rest of the time is something else. Great. Some people are getting donor breast milk. Some people are feeding directly from the breast. Some people are feeding their milk in bottles. Some people are using breast milk and bottle and formula. Some people, there's a lot of different ways to do this. It's not one size fits all.
No.
Some of us are going to be able to exclusively breastfeed and want to do that. Some of us don't want to do that or can't do that. It doesn't make you any less of a person, a mother, a parent. And so when we're out here loving on ourselves, we're less likely to judge another mother, another person for whatever their experience was or is, and it's going to be different from ours. But we can still connect. We can still connect and know that whether you're making bottles or you're pulling your breasts out or your chest out, that is all hard. It's a lot of work. So we can do better at supporting each other. And these so-called divisions between, breastfeeders, bottle feeders, titty feeders, chest feeders, forget all that. That's made up BS. We can rise above that and let's just support each other because this is a hard job, however way you're doing it.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say was at first, I breastfed my first, so he was 20 months. My second one, 15 months, because I got pregnant with right? So every time I got pregnant so many damn times. Every time I got pregnant, right? My baby would wean. So I always say, I'll give myself 2 years, the first 2 years. Like I'm cool with breastfeeding them. I made it to 20 with the first. I made it to 15 with the second. I'm not going to lie. By my third, I was tapped out. Okay? Once she hit 11 months, I was like, so yeah. We gonna have to chill with this. We gonna have to begin the process of weaning because I don't want to do it no more. Point blank, period. And at first I felt so guilty because I was like, I gave the other ones this amount of time and why am I cutting her short? But what I realized was that you have to listen to your body and you have to listen to yourself. And if you're tapped out and it doesn't work no more because you don't like the feeling, now it became stressful to me. Now it became where, I'm not going to lie, she would cry to nurse and I'm like, here we go. And I'm nursing.
Well, it's an aversion. It was an aversion. You had, there was an aversion to nursing, which is a thing for y'all out there in the world. You can have an aversion to breastfeeding. It can come up in the beginning. It can come up at the end. It can come up when you're ovulating. It can come up when you're pregnant. It can come up just because. So
so I felt like, I'm not going to feel guilty. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I still love my baby. That don't mean I'm going to neglect my baby. That don't mean that I don't love my baby. That don't mean that I'm a bad mom. It just means that this is my journey with her specifically. Yes. But she's still healthy. She's well taken care of, And she gave me a rough time for the weaning process. I'm not going to lie, the hardest one out of all of them. But here goes the other one. Once you carry one, you got to carry all, right? Oh. Come here.
Wow. Hi, baby. Hey, Zoom babies.
So you gotta come. Wait, Tristan. If you stay right there, they can see you. So yeah, that's another thing I want mothers to know. Don't feel guilty if at any point you just don't want to. But find the best alternative afterwards or whatever the case is. Mine at that point was already eating, you know, solid foods. So I tried to give her, you know, other types of milk, but she didn't want it. She was like titty or nothing. So if you ain't gonna give me the titty, give me the food. I don't want nothing else.
Well,
You
look,
know?
better that they have a mom that is feeling good in herself than a mom that's constantly doing this and feels like shit. Okay.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, if the energy that you're giving when you're doing this and you don't, and you know that you really don't want to, and it's driving you crazy, you know, is that like, okay? I mean, yeah, I mean, it is, it happens, it's happened, you know, but you know, what choice you made in terms of, like, you were talking about alchemy, you know, it's still that beautiful alchemy. You're still creating, like, hey, let's just be real with where I'm at. Because guess what? I'm important.
Yes.
And in order for me to be cool and to keep being the mom that I want to be, I need to cut back on some things.
Yeah.
And I think, so it's like, it's your body. It's body autonomy. I mean, you
Yes.
get to teach your kids too about body autonomy. And it's interesting because, yes, their milk is in your body. So weigh that one out. How did the creator come up with that one?
Yeah.
Their food is in your body. So somehow we have to reconcile that.
Get the strawberries instead on the counter.
And we have to constantly be in conversation with ourselves and our loved ones and our children about what that means. Like, we're sharing this in a sense, right? Yeah. It's like, and yeah, and I mean, weaning, you know, talking about breastfeeding, weaning is a process. Weaning is tough. Yeah. Sometimes we do it quickly. Sometimes the parent leads the weaning. Sometimes the kid leads the weaning. Yeah. You know, the kid's like, I'm done. They just, the parents are, oh my God, like, they won't do it anymore. You know, so it doesn't always go one way. At the end of the day, although our journeys are similar, we all have different details, different lived experience, different stressors, different things going on that make us have to make certain choices for our family. And that's what I'm saying, is like, at the end of the day, don't judge. Let's not, you know, if we find, I mean, just check in with yourself. I'm saying, like, do you find yourself judging other mothers?
Right.
For their choices? Because honestly, if you're doing that a lot, you're also doing it to yourself.
To yourself, exactly.
If you are constantly looking at what other people aren't doing, how other mothers aren't doing it, like, really just check in with yourself, because you're probably pretty hard on yourself too. You're probably beating yourself up for probably kind of internalizing that as well. You know, maybe that's what's coming first. You're beating yourself up, and then you also turn it on to other lives. Just check in with ourselves and just do the work on ourselves, and hopefully look out onto all the parents out here with grace, with just praying for the best for them, you know, wishing and hoping and meditating on grace, because for all of us, because this is a very tough job in a society that does not give us any support whatsoever. I mean, it's 2021 and they're just talking about giving parents like a couple extra dollars so they can put their kids in preschool if they want to. I mean, like, how long have we been doing this? This is ridiculous. We have countries with universal preschool, universal childcare, giving you money to stay home for the first year so you can breastfeed your child. And then maybe it didn't come easy, so you need more support. And that's available to you. You got people coming to your home in other countries, not everyone, of course, but other countries coming to your home and checking on you and your postpartum. Some countries, they check on you every day for weeks to make sure you're okay. And we don't do that here. You give birth in a hospital, they see you at 6 weeks for 10 minutes, bye. You know, God forbid they even know what's going on in the prior and that first 6 weeks postpartum is where so much change and so many places of need show up for people. We don't even address it. We act like you don't exist until your 6 week postpartum visit. And again, it's a 10-minute appointment. And then when do you see that person again? Never, you know? So we have to be gentle with each other.
Yeah.
And I just encourage everyone to really just be gentle with each other, whether, you know, you may be a huge breastfeeding advocate, but at the same time, like, it's not going to be for everybody.
No.
But then everything is like open to you know, it's like either you're not breastfeeding enough or you're breastfeeding too long, right?
Yeah.
Especially like, you know, the pandemic,
You can't win.
you know, any moms, like, you know, I gave birth on February 1st, 2020. We got locked down a month later. And that, I think that was also why I became tapped out too, because we were locked in for a whole year. So she wasn't even taking bottles. If I had to go out, my husband had to deal with hell with her because she was screaming and crying and crying and crying that I would have to just come back home. So it was a lot, you know. So it's like a lot of these moms that, you know, have given birth during this time in the pandemic, you know, I really, really, you know, feel for them, because it was not an easy time to transition
Hey, you have to watch
into motherhood, you know, because so many other things were going on in the world that added to the stress to these mothers that you already have stress, period.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And I just want to say, but I also want to say that on the converse, there were some really great things about the pandemic because for postpartum people. So what I want to say is that honestly, it really made a lot of postpartum people have to sit their ass down after they had their baby.
Girl,
and I'm so grateful for that.
It was my first time. My work, it was not a work overload. I was like, oh, I can actually relax. I have time.
Yes.
Which is sad that when you're able to relax, you don't know what to do. We're so conditioned to work that you don't have to do nothing.
It feels
and you're
bad.
still feeling like you got to do something.
Yes.
It's so crazy. But I do want to talk about real quick, if you can talk about, Mama Kim, like a lot of times when we're nursing, there is this idea that the baby's not getting enough milk because the baby's nursing a lot. But
Well,
not always the case.
well, I mean, I would say to that here, I'm putting you guys on the nap ministry right now. What I would say to that is,
Nice.
that, you know, Supreme Mama says they're there right now. I mean, what I would say to that, just in a nutshell, since we don't have a lot of time, is please reach out to a lactation support person. They are out there doing the do. I forgot to mention that we have a Friday group called Lactation Lounge, which is low cost lactation support.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage all y'all out here who need support around breastfeeding to reach out to the Lactation Lounge, and you can find out about them on Kindred Space LA, because you know there's a lot of myths, like you know that's the point of this live about breastfeeding. But in a nutshell, I'll say that one of the ways you can know your baby's getting enough to eat is not just by the frequency of feeding, because they are supposed to feed frequently, but you want to look at the output and the weight gain. So if your baby's making 6 to 8 wet diapers a day, which could mean that if they're using disposables, they may pee 3 or 4 times before you actually change it, because you know usually you don't take disposable till it feels really full. So that said, you know what a really wet diaper is. Know if your baby has a really wet diaper, it's probably several pees in there. And you also want to make sure they're having frequent poops. And you know, frequent breastfeeding is going to help keep your supply adequate. And if you're breastfeeding frequently and your baby's pooping a lot and your baby's peeing a lot and your baby's gaining weight of about a ½ ounce to an ounce a day, then you're doing great. Like the frequency is working. The frequency is doing what it's supposed to do. And it doesn't, you know, it's in a way they are always frequent nursers if you're around, but as they get older, it can get easier. Really, all that frequency is really helping your body to heal postpartum. So remember, like what you were saying, sister, that we're always hating on our bodies. You know, we hate that we have a period. We hate that childbirth can be intense and all those things. But the truth of the matter is, like, for instance, we hate that breastfeeding is so frequent in the beginning, especially the beginning, because like we got all this other stuff we want to do, like go to Target. Like, give me a break. Like, sit your ass down, feed your baby, recover from childbirth, heal. That is what we need to do. And especially those first 4 to 6 weeks. And we need to ask for support. So we got other kids. Then we definitely need even more support this time around, because we need people to help us with our older kids. Like, stop trying to do it all and you just had a baby. Like, plan for your postpartum, plan for the downtime, call in the troops. You got everybody calling saying what you need, but then you don't tell them anything. You just say, nothing. No, when someone calls and says, what do you need? Say, I need someone to pick up dinner for us. I need someone to come watch these other nappy-headed kids so I can get some rest. I need, you know, whatever. Like, use these people. They
Fold
love
the
you.
clothes, fold the laundry.
I need somebody to do this laundry. Like, it's a mountain in here, and I feel like I can't just feed my baby because I got all this laundry. So
I was breaking up.
I think Jenn froze on me. Okay, she's good. But if you don't really,
Oh,
if you're
yeah,
not,
Okay, now I see. Yeah.
the message came through.
yeah, basically be okay with asking for help. Give people who love you a chance to support you.
Yeah.
It's going to make your life so much better. No, you do not have to do it all alone. I don't care if you're a single
Nope.
mom, married mom.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. We are out here. We're supposed to be supporting each other.
That's
So
why the village. It's a village. The village is so important.
yep.
So I like you said that about putting and like pulling in the troops and stuff like that, because sometimes we forget about the people around us. But it's kind of cool when we can take advantage of like that power to alchemize around us and we start attracting the things. So if you stay true to your beliefs up here and saying, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, these are my goals, those like all the opportunities are gonna start showing up for you to be able to show up.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get tested. You're gonna
Yeah.
get tested. Is this really what you want? Now I'm gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna take it back to see, you know, how determined you are. And I think that that's another cool thing when we could realize the power that we have to decide and actually make and manifest. So when we say these things, and we need to realize that like breastfeeding is more of a mental thing that we're doing. And once
Yeah.
we stay up here, we're gonna do it. It starts aligning, and it just starts creating, and you just start being. So it's like don't ever be unloyal to your true feelings, because those are the things that make you more powerful. And then that's when you're really gonna truly realize who you really are and what you came here to do.
Yes.
And I think
I'm just gonna put
my favorite thing is that with this whole conversation, that it's all our decisions. It's all, yeah, life is gonna happen, but what are we gonna do when life happens? What are our decisions gonna look like? What are the outcomes gonna look like? So don't ever hesitate. There are gonna be people that may hit you up randomly that you didn't even know. I had a cousin that was breastfeeding. Never in my life would have thought this cousin would be having a baby at the as me. She shared her breast milk with me, so I wouldn't feel guilty about giving my baby different milk, you know. And it's like those things happened by accident. I was looking in here, but I wasn't really looking and saying anything with my mouth. So once I kind of like aligned all those things, yeah, I gotta use my voice, I gotta think about what I want, I gotta, you know, and understanding that recipe to be like, okay, I get it. And it's never gonna be the same, and understanding that that's okay too.
Yes, I put in Kindred Space LA. I put in Kimberly's page as well. Make sure you hit her up if you guys need, you know, she has also, it's not just her, she has also other facilitators that you know, are lactation consultants. She has a birthing center in LA as well if you're in LA, which is incredible.
She has a village.
She has the village. Yes, she also does the doula training, which it's in my documentary, because Mama Kim is also one of our lactation specialists in my documentary, and we also documented one of her doula trainings, which was amazing. So she has those things if you're also interested in birth work.
Oh yes,
which we need so many more of us in this birth world.
Yes, I'm just putting some people in the chats that are great lactation specialists. I am an IBCLC, but I also really actively mentor people who want to be IBCLCs and also midwives, because guess what? We don't need just one IBCLC or one midwife. We need hundreds, thousands, like blanketing this country, this world. So please, like, support. I can't do it all. I'm not trying to do it all.
That's
There's
right.
these wonderful people also that are here to support and empower. So I added some of their names. Humbled by Motherhood, Darian Roberts, amazing. Lydia Boyd, IBCLC.
Yes.
I'm going to put in Christian Beckley, and just Milk in the Moon, Chelsea Pinto. I mean, there are so many awesome.
There's another Pinto. Get out of town.
Oh, as a matter of fact, that's right. Chelsea
I never
Pinto.
hear anybody with my last name.
Milk in the Moon. She just had her new baby, a fourth baby. So, so I put all those folks there. I hope if that can be helpful to folks, and and just follow us at Kindred Space LA. And thank you, ladies, so much for inviting me to speak today.
You're also on the when I upload this. Thank you so much, Mama Kim, for joining us. We appreciate you.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Okay. All righty. I want to get these names down because I want to add it when I put the.
Yeah, that's why I didn't exit out because I was like, I also wanted.
Because I didn't get to write it down. Dula Christian. This is awesome. At Milk and the Moon. And also, y'all already know I've been promoting it. My book is out. Make sure y'all get it. My fourth trimester, A Spiritual Journey After Birth. And I really get raw with it. I share a lot about my experience and my personal life. I share my trauma. And I share basically, how I navigated through that trauma and how I healed myself through it, so I can be a much more conscious mom and aware mom that can make better decisions for my children. So make sure you tap into that. We'll be back again next week. I forgot what our topic is next week. What are we doing?
I don't remember either. I
don't remember, but I know soon we're doing the pro-choice and pro-life, and that's going to be an interesting one, I know.
Yeah, that one's quite interesting.
All right, well, thank you to anybody who tuned in with us. Thank you to anybody who watched afterwards. My children want to say bye. Bye, beautiful. All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.